Second track, boy, let me tell you, my guy. Cry for Me is heat. That might be. Hey guys, it's Pariah. Welcome to the channel. We are about to embark on this journey of reacting to The Weeknd's new album, Hurry Up Tomorrow Now. I am a big Weeknd fan, and this new trilogy we're a part of, has been an interesting ride. After Hours is so far my favorite album out of the new trilogy. Dawn FM was fine, but after like a long time being with these two albums, After Hours definitely still is on the top for me. Um, Hurry Up Tomorrow. Now, I do have some reservation about this one because like the lead singles for it, like they were okay, but like I was expecting more and it's mainly because I'm comparing them to the original trilogy, and it's kind of hard to live up to that, right? But I'm hoping that this one is like good. So let's embark on the journey, shall we? First track, Wake Me Up. I've heard practically all of the first track, right? Because there were so many leaks that came out for this one specific track. So I've heard it, but the official studio version, yeah, it goes hard. And the transition into the second track was crazy. So I haven't, but yeah, so far it's pretty fire. I'll be like giving official rankings of each track when I'm like done with your reaction. Second track, boy, let me tell you, my guy. Cry for Me is heat. That might be a song that's gonna be, I'm gonna play that one out, probably. Like, I would run it back, but I don't wanna like, I just wanna keep it flowing. So rather than like running it back. That one, I tried to look at the credits to see who produced that one. It doesn't show me yet, but like my guess, that was probably Metro Boomin. The production on that one was crispy, bro. That song felt like a blend of Beauty Behind the Madness and After Hours, bro. That's what that track felt like, and that was, yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. All right, so I got like into it. I think the last part I left off on was it Cry for Me? It might have been. I don't remember. But I got through the interlude of I Can't Fucking Sing, which was very, visceral of him like losing his voice. Then we got to Sao Paulo, which I've heard, and Sao Paulo is still, it's all right, I guess. Like, the right home about. It's not bad, but it's all right. It is better within context of the album of it just like flowing. It's a lot better. And then Baptized in Fear, I liked a lot. I liked the story that was told there, and then it blended into Open Hearts, which was like. Side note, I don't know why I'm breathing so heavy. My fault. I think Open Hearts goes better if you consider it a part of Baptized in Fear. And then now we're in Opening Night, which I'm only 18 seconds into the track, and I paused it because I started laughing because it's a goofy ass beat. This beat is goofy as hell. Maybe it changes, but it's goofy. I don't know if I'll be able to focus on the track. We'll see what happens. Listen to it. That's goofy. I'm just saying, like it's a little goofy, but we're gonna listen to it and see what happens. All right. Okay, I wanted me to come back after opening night. After the stories that are getting told, I immediately ignored the goofy ass beat. But what's like interesting, it seems like he's talking about like getting a call or a message from a woman about the relationship before he goes out on stage, and it's messing with him because like it's right before he's going out to perform. And then he's talking about like uh circulation gone, shaking on the floor, steroids in my lungs, fighting off the mud. Maybe he's like, having a panic attack, or I don't know in terms of timeline. I don't know where this is in terms of the Weeknd's life. I don't know if this is like one of his early times performing, or if this is a recent time when he performed. I don't know. That's why I'm a little like, I don't know what's going on here, but it's interesting. So, next track, Reflections, Laughing. Just got done listening to that track. By the story, it sounds like from some of the heavy story beats, it seems to be like him in general struggling in the music industry in terms of like how it's like on him like mentally. It seems like touring has been really what word am I looking for? Taxing on him. But he tours a lot though, so I'm like, you doing it to yourself then. But there's like a woman, I assume like a significant other, who's like, yo, like, in general the story seems to be about him struggling to stay his like better self and not go back to like the old Weeknd and shit on like the drugs and all the women and the money and shit, and he's trying to still be a better person, but it's hard for him as he's like touring and doing all this other shit. So yeah, uh interesting. Another note I felt was important to get through about this track. I liked it a lot in terms of the story track it is. Then Travis Scott came and ruined it. Travis Scott ruined the track. He ruined it. Because at first it seemed like he was going with the story. I was like, okay. Then he ruined it and started talking about random money bullshit. Damn. Okay. Damn. Enjoy the show. All right. Um, for this trilogy, right? It's interesting because like I expected this album to be more cynical compared to Dawn FM, but this is more cynical than um After Hours. Like, and enjoy the show. He's legit being like, yo, I didn't think I'd make it past 24, but now that I have, I don't even want to make it past 34. He's like, yo, at this point, he's like, I'm not scared about overdosing anymore, bro. He's like that ass. Like, if I start the drugs again, but it sounds like even, he's still been bouncing back and forth, and he hasn't like really stopped bouncing back and forth between it. And with that, it sounds like he's like, yo, if I stick to it at this point, just overdose, because I don't want to make it past this age. I just want to die at my peak. So right as I was talking about him seeing like the same old stuff, giving up on me, he's just straight up explicit with it. He said, "Y'all, I've been lying." He said, "I've been on this shit and I hadn't stopped." Okay, my fault. Next track, which is I Can't Wait to Get There. It was like felt more like an interlude track. It was cool. Um, he's talking about like what it's like currently in his state of fame, practically, right? Niagara Falls was interesting. These Some of these tracks are very intriguing because I'm getting a concept. Okay, so like a lot of the tracks are it's a little weird because more on that later because this album makes me lose my steam a bit. Take me back into what? Take me back to LA. Once again, kind of the point I was making earlier, that was a very basic track. I'm not saying it was bad though. Like I liked it. In terms of the story, like what makes it better is the great production, the vocal performance, and the story together. Now, if these tracks were by itself, these tracks would be very weak and very mid to the point where I'd be like, okay. I forgot to mention how out of place Timeless was on this album. Like, Sao Paulo felt slightly in place, but Timeless didn't fit at all. Also, I lost my footage. Yay. Unfortunate. So we're just gonna skip to like the bits that I do still have, which is not a lot, unfortunately, but then I recorded again the next day. Okay, it's not bad, but I'm. This was nothing. I don't know how else to put it. Drive was cute. The second half of the album, ironically, the song after listening is Drive, but this feels like it'd be fine if you're like on a road trip, a long road trip. This would be a cool little, like the second half would be a cool little thing to play in the back. Once again, this is a soundtrack, and that's kind of pissing me off. Maybe I'm upset now. And it's not because I'm saying it's bad. It's just I was expecting, because we were getting some story development. But now it all feels like a big refrain. There's nothing being told. It's just a giant refrain. Okay, okay. That track was better. I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. The Abyss was fire. I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. No, see, this one felt like it pushed the story on, or at least it like resumed the story, because it felt like for a while we were just floating in empty space with nothing being said. But this one, once again, it just like kind of like reharps back on the idea of how cynical and practically suicidal he is, bro. Like that ass, he's like, um, he once again, he's like, I want to end at my peak, bro. So like, it sounds like he's feeling like he's already at his peak, and he's like, bro, why not just end it? And you should end it with me. Red Terror. It's about he's singing from this perspective of his mother. Whoops. Anyway, like it, liked it. It was good. Great. Once again, phenomenal production, bro. Like, fantastic production, bro. Yeah. I, but like, yeah, great production. Loved the story on that one. As a standalone track, I think I'd listen to it. I'm a big Weeknd fan. And I was nervous for this album. Rightfully so, as this apparently is the last album under the Weeknd moniker. So there's that. So let's talk about what I liked about the album before I get into the criticisms and then the final ranking or scoring of the album I give it. What I like about this album is the cover, for one, the updated cover, because this shit was not it. That was not it. That was not it at all. I'm glad they didn't go with that, because no. Also, what I liked is the sound of the album. I'm glad that each album in this new trilogy sounded drastically different. Drastically? I don't know. But they sounded different. After Hours didn't sound like Dawn FM and vice versa, and Dawn FM didn't sound like Hurry Up Tomorrow, which I was so happy about because I didn't want to repeat. And luckily, each album sounds very different. And this album has a very like nostalgic sound. I think it's the best way I can put it. There's something about it that I feel like I could hear in like the early 2000s when I was growing up, at least with some tracks. And I feel like this is the most R&B we've heard The Weeknd since the original trilogy, bro. Like, he came in with the R&B sounds, and I was happy about it. I was very, very happy about it. Now, some of my favorite tracks on it is probably Cry For Me, Wake Me Up, The Abyss, and yeah, I think that's it. If I'm being honest with myself, I think that's it. Now, honestly, I think the good things end about there. And, sorry to say it, but I think the good things end there. So, let's talk about the bad, because there's a lot of bad. This album, I didn't want it to be but it's mid. It's mid as fuck. I don't know what to tell you. It like, bro, I don't know what happened, but there's something about it that's just okay. There's something about it, bro. And I want it to be very clear when I say this because mid has been demonized, right? People hear mid and they're like, oh my god, he's a hater. No. Mid means mid. I didn't say ass. I didn't say bad. I didn't say terrible. I didn't say it should kill itself. No, I just said mid. Okay? Because there are many great mid things out there in the world. McDonald's is mid. And you can have top tier mid. When McDonald's season its beef and you get a double quarter pounder with cheese and that shit has salt on it, bro, that shit gets elevated, okay? But still mid. Still mid as hell. Now, the best way I can compare this album, this feels like a modern Starboy, and I hate it. I don't hate the album, but I hate the fact that it feels like a modern Starboy. I'm being so real with you, bro. And if you know me, I don't like Starboy. To the people that dick ride Starboy, get some better music taste. Anyway, here's why things went wrong, right? I think the album in itself, right? So a lot of it, I think, came from the part with there was nothing much more left to say, if we're being honest. What more is there to say as The Weeknd, especially if you're killing them off? What more is there to say? You said everything without your whole career. You said everything in After Hours, and you definitely said everything in Donovan. At this point, what is there more to say? So in that aspect, I'll give him a bit of a fair break on that end, right? And then another thing that I just blame him for is the fact that he's making a movie for this. Meaning this album is just a fucking soundtrack. Which is a big part of why it is the way it is. When you get to like the middle of the album, or even the second half, if you want to call it that, or I don't know why I said call it that, if you want to say the second half of the album, a lot of it feels like filler. There's nothing being said there. Everything has just been repeated from the previous tracks and no new ground is being broken. And like, bro, not to say I dislike it, not like the production is fantastic. The production is fantastic, and that's the only thing that keeps it feeling fresh and new, is the fantastic production, right? However, there is just like so much repetitiveness and refrain that happens within almost all of these tracks, and it pisses me off a bit. And I say this coming from a musician myself. I make music. So I want you to know that this is coming from a person who kind of understands it a little bit. What some of these tracks feel like is if you're a musician, you know what I'm talking about. When you're making a song and you have like really strong production going and you have a really strong couple of lines for like lyrics. You're like, yo, this is hard. But you don't know what else to say to complement those couple of strong like lyrics, including the chorus. So you're like, well, let me put filler on the track. And how do you put filler on the track? Either long drawn out breaks, instrumental breaks within the track, or repeated long choruses or refrains or bridges that say the same thing over and over again. Like, that's what a lot of this album is, and it hurts. There's only a couple of tracks that break that to where it's a normal song structure, and those are of like the lead singles that were released, which are Mid and Cry For Me, and then yeah, that's it. And then Wake Me Up, sorry. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't know, bro. And like I said, I think a big part of that is because this album is just a giant soundtrack. And I think that's definitely a downfall of it. Like, because, like, bro, like, I wouldn't be upset. I don't want to use the word disappointed or upset because, like, did I enjoy my time listening to it? Yes. It was an experience. I'll say that it was definitely an experience, and the album felt like I was going through a movie in a way. It did. It was a very story heavy album. Now, Dawn of Him was more conceptual, but this one was more story heavy. There was a story being told there, but at the same time, there could have been more done musically. Aside from the production was fantastic. But, still, lyrically, there was a lot to be left desired. Now, I recorded my individual reaction to each track, but I don't know if I'm going to include that because I don't want this video to be too long. But, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, this is such a weird album for me because this is like the final trilogy. This is the new trilogy, and this is how it ended. And comparing it to the other trilogy, at least how it ended, bro, it's just like, huh? Back to what I was saying before, I would be fine with it if this wasn't ending the Weeknd moniker, right? If this was not ending the Weeknd moniker, I'd be like, oh, it's just another mid-Weeknd album. Oh well, keep it pushing. But that's not what this is. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm making sense. Like, this album feels like if Starboy was where we killed off the Weeknd. Imagine how outrageous that would have been. But not to say that this album is Starboy. No, this is better than Starboy. A lot better than Starboy. But I hope you get what I'm saying. Some of the beats and like some of the songs with how like filler most of the tracks feel like Starboy, because a lot of Starboy is just filler junk food. And there's nothing wrong with junk food albums and projects. There are a lot of junk food albums and projects, but there are some that are better than the others. You know what I mean? I just like that's the best way I can put it. But this wasn't even junk food because a lot of it was story heavy and a lot of it was very cynical. I just don't know what else to like say about it. But yeah, I'm giving it my final ranking. The album for me, it's a 6.2. Now, to give you hindsight, Starboy for me is a 5.6. So, yeah. Now, ranking the other projects in this new trilogy, After Hours for me is a 9. No, it's an 8.8. I'm gonna give it a 9. It's an 8.8, right? And then Dawn FM for me is a 7.5. That's how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm saying that, but like, do I like this album more than Dawn FM? I don't know, because I listened to all the tracks before I listened to this album. Not track albums. I listened to all the previous albums before I listened to this one, and I don't know how to feel about it. That's my thoughts. I might make another video on this. I don't know, but yeah. God, Leah, look hideous. Bye.